I don't intend to cut anybody off in mid-sentence, but it does give a clue to wrap up.
Madam Chairwoman, members of the committee, my name is Betsy Daub, and I am the Policy Director with Friends of the Boundary Waters Wilderness, a nonprofit conservation organization. The Polymet project raises such significant concerns about the financial risks, in part because of the anticipated long duration of contaminated drainage that will require treatment. And the project's analysis shows a mine that will produce polluted drainage at the mine site and require water treatment at the mine site for a minimum of 200 years and at the plant site for at least 500 years. And these numbers come from Polymet's own water analysis. In your packets, you have, I believe, 2 graphs that look like this. And I'd like to take a few minutes just to briefly explain those 2 graphs, walk you through what those are saying and showing. These graphs show water quality expectations for 2 types of water contamination. On one of the graphs, you see the abbreviation CU, that stands for copper. And on the other one, the abbreviation SO4, which stands for sulfate. These are just 2 of several contaminants that Polymet analyzed in a document called Water Modeling Data Package Volume 1 Mine Site. These graphs show concentrations of these 2 contaminants in water that has been collected at the mine site and is being sent into the wastewater treatment facility for treatment. This is water that has seeped or drained from mine features like the mine pits or the waste rock piles. You can also see in the title of the graph WWTF, which means wastewater treatment facility, and the word influent, which means the water that is being sent into the facility for treatment. This is not measuring or representing the effectiveness of the treatment plant, but assessing the level of water contamination before it is treated. And then at the bottom, you see a red dashed line at the bottom of the graph, and this is the legal water quality standard, the target that needs to be met. There are 3 other lines on this graph, and they show 3 different probability scenarios that were modeled. The P90 level is kind of a worst-case probability scenario for the concentration of contaminants, and the P10, the bottom line, is a best-case probability scenario, with the P50 level is kind of a mid-range probability. And as you can see, at year 200, the levels of both copper on the one graph and sulfate on the other graph are not anywhere close to meeting the water quality standard dashed line at the bottom of the graph. So this is water that is going to need to be treated, or else it will be a source of significant pollution. Copper, for example, at levels above the legal water quality standard, is extremely toxic to fish and other aquatic life. So we know the proposed Polymet mine will require at least 200 years of active water treatment at the mine site, and there are similar data for the plant site showing water continuing to need treatment at 500 years. These graphs are not depicting travel times for uncaptured pollution. This is influent into the plant. Polymet did analyze pollution travel times for uncaptured water, but this is not what is being shown here. And these graphs are also not depicting concentrations of contaminants in the water just sitting in the mine pit lakes. This is seepage and drainage that the mine's collection systems have captured and are sending off to treatment. 200 and 500 years of active water treatment are likely to be very expensive. And yet the Polymet SDEIS does not describe at all how much this would cost, how it will be paid for, or how Minnesotans will be protected from financial liability. We have heard the DNR say that financial assurance will be worked out in the permitting process. But it is hard to evaluate long-term environmental impacts if we don't know what financial resources will be in hand or how secure those funds will be. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency urged Polymet 4 years ago to include financial assurance in the environmental impact statement. But exactly 4 years later, we have a second EIS that omits this crucial information. While it may be DNR's custom to calculate financial assurance at permitting, there is no legal reason preventing the DNR from doing it in the EIS, and there is every cautionary reason to do so. We believe it is vital that the EIS includes financial assurance disclosures. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions? I don't see any. Thank you. Paula Maccabee, Advocacy Director and Council Water Legacy. Welcome.